When the Sidney Hillman Foundation announced the recipient of this year's prize for opinion and analysis, the reaction in some quarters could be summarized in 2 words: Andrew Sullivan. After all, the Hillman Foundation is deeply rooted in the labor movement and in the liberal and progressive values of the American political tradition. So why is it honoring a blogger who has always described himself as a conservative, an editor who published a couple of deeply unfortunate articles in the New Republic back when he was my successor 2 decades ago, a commentator who supported the Iraq War and was rather intemperate about those who didn't, a writer who has written any number of things that I disagree with and that my fellow judges disagree with, and probably almost everybody in this room would disagree with. Why? Why a Hillman for Sullivan? Fair question. The short answer is that he deserves it. But before I say more about that, I might point out that while Andrew is indeed a conservative, he's not the standard model. It's not every right-winger who ranks number 19 on Forbes magazine's list of the 25 most influential liberals in the US media, or who backed the Democratic nominee in the last 3 presidential elections, or who is a passionate, though sometimes critical, admirer of President Barack Obama. Not every early supporter of the Iraq War, many liberal hawks included, has repented as thoroughly and as self-critically as Andrew has done. And not every conservative, not every progressive for that matter, is as open as he is to questioning the premises and consequences of his political faith, even his religious faith. But we're not honoring Andrew Sullivan because we believe in the forgiveness of sin and the redemption of souls, though I'm one atheist who does believe in those. No, our main reason can also be summarized in 2 words: marriage equality. The widespread acceptance of the notion that the institution of marriage ought to be open to loving couples regardless of gender is one of those successes that has 1,000 parents. But at the beginning, and for many years after the beginning, it had only a handful. Andrew Sullivan was and is one of them. He broached the subject 24 years ago in a groundbreaking essay in the New Republic. Since then, in his journalism, in his books, and then starting at the dawn of the new century and continuing right up to 5 minutes ago in the pioneering blog he calls The Dish. He's made the moral and ethical and civic case for gay marriage. He's told the human stories behind it, and he's chronicled the political and legal struggle to make it a reality. In the early years, which coincided with the cresting of the plague of AIDS that cost so many lives and might have cost him his own, Sullivan faced the anger and scorn of mainstream conservatives and the bigotry of the hard right. He also came in for criticism from sections of the gay movement. Some worried the talk of marriage was too extreme, a distraction that risked alienating moderate allies. Further left, some saw the idea as a surrender to oppressive bourgeois conformity, an attack on the distinctiveness of gay culture. But as The Economist has written, Sullivan was trying to alter the underlying argument of the gay rights movement, from a radical assertion of difference to a radical assertion of sameness. In the LGBT community and well beyond, that argument has prevailed. Andrew Sullivan is now a legally and happily married man, and so is his patient and understanding husband, Aaron Tone. Andrew's work for marriage equality by itself would not be enough to merit this honor without a broader context. We also take note of his consistent condemnation of torture and the impunity granted to the perpetrators of torture, his critique of the cruelties of the drug war and solitary confinement and capital punishment, his evisceration of neoconservative warmongering, his opposition to intolerant religious fundamentalism, including the American variety he correctly calls Christianism, his campaign for reform in his own beloved Catholic Church, his recognition of the corrosive danger of growing income inequality, and his support for gun control, civil liberties, and action on climate change. On unions, well, on that one, there is some evidence that his views are evolving. They might even evolve a little bit more tonight. We commend him, too, for creating a sturdy and innovative journalistic institution, one that recently embarked on a brave experiment, trying to sustain itself without advertising or corporate backing, purely on subscriptions from devoted readers. For those readers, and I'm one of them, the Dish is a source of pleasure as well as a forum for stimulating discussion and a uniquely energetic and intelligent collator of news and opinion. So, for courage and constancy in the struggle for marriage equality, for the defense of humane values, and for creativity at the digital cutting edge, the Hillman Prize for Opinion and Analysis Journalism goes to Andrew Sullivan and the Dish.
I am more than honored to accept this award. I'm humbled, and I'm grateful to those on the committee who, even though they may have many issues with me, are big-hearted and open-minded enough to say there are some things upon which we can agree, regardless of the risk to their reputation and mine. I am a sinner. Absolution is something, as a Catholic, I'm very familiar with. But this is something better. The people who have won this award and the people who have been here tonight are people I revere and whose example I only hope to follow in. I want to thank Rick for his, and all the judges for their generosity of spirit, which seems to be more common now on the left than on the right. This is an award I would not be given by my fellow conservatives at this point. I also want to thank the people that have made the Dish what it is, my sturdy co-owners of this little new company, Patrick Appel and Chris Bodenna, Chris is here tonight, who really do sustain what they call dishness. Zoe and Matt, and Jesse and Brendan and Doug and Alice are all part of this team, and I thank them all. I thank my husband, Aaron Tone, and I want to thank all those people with me in this movement over the last 25 years to seek dignity and equality under the law for homosexuals, their lives, their loves, their marriages, and even their deaths, out of which this amazing and staggering revolution has emerged. Thank you so much.